Alright. Hello and welcome to anyone watching us, whether past, present, or future. And welcome to us just building Pokemon for D&D, where we are just gonna try and make these funny little guys into playable characters in D&D. I tried doing this earlier in the week on Monday, to be a, oh, I'm gonna turn the music down just a little bit, just a smidgen. Mostly because I thought it was a fun idea on Sunday, so I changed my plans on Monday to do this, and I did Raichu for 3.5 hours, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm gonna try and have Lightning Strike twice, and have even more fun with my funny little guys, my favorite little fellas, Snorunt. He's just one of my favorites. He's just a chilly little guy who just wanted to learn Ice Beam in the anime, and that really endeared me. And I have a plushie that cost $70 to make, so I very much appreciate him. They're a very good boy, who I love dearly with a good chunk of my heart. So yeah, we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be making Snorunt today. Here, why don't we get out pretty good and no. Okay. Pretty good to actually get out the presentation. Alright, no webs, where are you, OBS? Okay. Hi, Giovanni. Hi, how you doing? Alright, should be showing on OBS now. Yep! There they are! There they are! Here's the funny little guy! Snorunt hours! So, again, Snorunt, one of my favorite Pokemon, so they're pretty high up on my list if I want to do this. Especially because I was thinking, oh shit. Because I know Snorunt lore. Snorunt's actually not hard to convert into D&D. And I find that so cool and interesting. Because you wouldn't think that this little triangle boy is a perfect fit for D&D. What? What hell? Are you surprised that I commented you running in here and passing out? Oh, okay. I see. It's about summoning your demonic boys. Understandable. We'll get our prince. We'll get out the prince. Alright. Thank you. Our prince can watch now. He can see. So yeah, Snorunt. Snorunt's one of my favorite Pokemon since as a kid when I was watching the Gen 3 anime. Sceptile's up there, because he had cool, like, Boron blades. I probably will be doing Sceptile in the future. He is on my list. But Snorunt's just a really cute guy, and I know that's, like, the reason why I played through Sword the first time, because you can catch Snorunt in the wild area at the very beginning of the game, which was a very easy bribe. So, yeah. So, why don't we just go in, after I spent 3 minutes faffing around, to what our goals are going to be for tonight. Our goals for Snorunt are, they have to be a lucky boy, because in Snorunt lore, if you invite a Snorunt into your home, that's said to be good luck. So they've got to be lucky in some way, whether it's going to be for themselves or for others. We're going to have them we're going to give them some luck, because they deserve it, and they're a good little guy who wards hospitality. Secondly, our second main goal is going to be that they're going to have to predict the weather. Mostly because in a lot of Pokedex entries, Snorunts are said to gather up in groups at midnight, on a midnight before it's supposed to get really snowy, because Snorunts eat fresh snow. And I think about that a lot, because if I had a pet Snorunt, because I lived in a place that was really cold growing up and had a lot of snow, that like, oh man, I can feed him snow during the winter, and when it gets real hot, all I would need is like a snow cone machine, give it like shredded ice, and it would be so happy, and I'd just do that whenever I'd eat, and it'd be great. And they seem like pretty low maintenance guys. They're just funny little guys. But yeah, no, you'll probably know when it's gonna be snowy if you just have a bunch of Snorunts out in your backyard. All the local Snorunts come up and go like, food, 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 food. So we gotta find out how we can predict the weather. And lastly, our goal is going to be evolving to a ghost type. Now, I thought about this, and one, I'm very biased when it comes to D&D mechanics in particular. I really like necrotic themes, so I gravitate a lot towards those. You may see it a lot if we do build, like, a lot more future builds, just because I've been inspired more by undead themes. But also when thinking about Glalie, I couldn't really think of ones that are specifically Glalie builds, at least not right now. And the main reason why is because Glalie has a lot of different flavor than Snorunt, in the sense that Glalie seems to be a lot more of an intimidating figure, a lot more of a Pokemon known probably from people who have had horrible encounters with Glalies, and also that its head is just super frozen, are like the main articles. So I kind of want to go more to the Frosslass angle, and have us have to evolve into a ghost type, quote unquote. So yeah, I'm very interested in that. Oh, I didn't put race. Alright, cool. Hey, we're gonna copy paste. Yeah, we can just, copy paste this one. Gonna paste here. Race. So what we're gonna be doing for race, first off, hey, Wikidot, my favorite website for D&D content. So for the race that we have in mind for Snorunt, it's gonna be a very simple answer. And it's gonna solve our first goal here of being lucky. If you're a fan of Lord of the Rings or D&D, you're gonna know that's Halflings. Halflings are basically not hobbits. They're short, funny little guys who mostly just want to chill in their shires. Again, they're just hobbits. They just can't be hobbits because of copyright. But yeah, essentially think of like a hobbit figure. And the main reason why is lucky. It's like their main signature ability, and it basically says when you roll a 1 on an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. So for anything, anything other than damage, you can re-roll, and you must use the new result even if it's an @1. So essentially with this, our lucky little guy is going to not only be able to be lucky around, but also be lucky themselves. She is going to have good luck and never have a really bad failure. So yeah, I will go over some of the other things, but I'm gonna write down some things that are gonna be here. We're gonna be doing bullet points, please. So we're going Halfling. Initially, we're gonna get a +2 Dex, which is always handy. You can never go wrong with that. We're gonna be small. Which, actually, okay, so Halflings are about 3 foot tall. I'm curious, I wonder how tall is Snorunt supposed to be? Because Snorunt's not big. Snorunt's 2 foot tall, 2'4". Alright, so we're a bit taller than the average Snorunt. We get lucky, so no, not lucky. Ones. We get nimble. Oh no, we get brave. We have advantage on saving throws against being frightened. Well, I guess if you're just a little guy out in the blizzard, you see some shit. I mean, like, the main area I think of when I think of a Snorunt's environment is Sinnoh. I think Sinnoh is probably the native environment of a Snorunt, and that can be pretty horrifying because you got like a bomb of snows walking around. You've got like Sneasels trying to like steal things and be like opportunistic little weasels. Like, they see a lot of stuff out there, and they have to be a brave little guy who bundles up in the cold. So they're gonna be brave. Brave little guy. And nimble. What does nimble quite do? You can move through space any small creature, any creature that is size larger than you. Okay, cool. So Snorunt's small enough that if you see like a medium-sized creature right? You can walk through them. You can walk underneath their legs, which is pretty cool, and like a small thing that just really helps out your, just really helps out movement on the map. And with Snorunt being a little bundled up guy, makes sense. Alright, so we have Nimble, helping out our nobility. Not Nibble, Nimble. And we can speak Common and Halfling. So there's a few apparently. I'm only gonna go with the ones playing it because like this one's real good from what I'm seeing. But I know Snorunt doesn't usually do all of this. This seems to be much more of like a woodsy type. Even for what would be best for us. Yeah, what we're looking for is Lightfoot Halfling. Mostly, for one thing, it's going to give us Charisma, which is a stat we're going to need to invest in later for this build. Secondly, I think it fits a lot better than having advantage to poison because Snorunt doesn't have resistance against poison. He's an ice type. She's got nothing. She's got no defenses. But this can let us hide. Oh, I like the idea of us like, okay, you'd attempt to hide even when you're only obscured by a creature that is at least one size larger than you. But I like the idea that we just can use like our jacket to like bundle up and hide and pretend to be like miscellaneous clothes, like a backpack or like a pouch. That's actually really cute. Alright. What's it called? Naturally stealthy. Alright, you're a problem with my bad spelling, nerd? There. And that means we're also gonna get a +1 dex. +1 charisma. Alright. So we'll keep that in mind as I design this rhyme. Next we go for background. Now, for this one, Snorunt really kind of roughs it, for the most part. Like, Snorunt's live in very extreme environments, because, like, in Sinnoh, they live in, like, the upmost north, like, part of the region, out in, like, essentially this long strip of, like, cold and forest, or, like, on top of the mountains. In, like, Hoenn, they live in this weird cave isolated from the rest of the region that like only exists with bats in themselves. So I think I'm gonna check what they do, but I think we can go for Outlander because I feel like Snorunt's a real Pokemon of the wild. Like they live out there. Yeah, grew up in the wilds, far from civilization and comforts of town technology. You've witnessed migration of herds, a larger forest, survived weather more extreme than any city dweller. Yep, that sounds about right with all the hail. I am gonna double check because I do think there's a similar background that I always like feel like overlaps with it. But what is it? Am I thinking of far? I think Far Traveler is what I think of the comparison. Is it Far Traveler? Far Traveler. Yeah, I don't think Far Traveler really fits here. Yeah, no, Far Traveler doesn't really work, because that's more like someone who's been adventuring, but hasn't really like, done, like, combat adventuring, more just, like, traveling. So yeah, I think we're gonna do Outlander, which is gonna be real funny, because our Snorunt's gonna have proficiency in athletics, of all things. Like, I think that's just kind of funny. I'm imagining this tiny little chilly boy being like, well, I guess they have to trudge through snow. And hey, Snorunt's got balanced stats, all right? They can rough it out. They could be a physical attacker. All right. So, here, you know, I'll put it here of what they speak. All right, so we go Outlander after we pick the format. Outlander, off in athletics. Survival. We can live out in the woods. Alright, and then we'll get one time instrument. I'm just gonna look up Snorunt instrument. Snorunt intro. Instrument. Let's see, what do we see here? Snorunt knows the gong. We've shaking Snorunt and gong. I congratulate you. I congratulate you, my guy. Aw, it's really... Does he... He's got a little tuxedo suit! He's got a little tuxedo suit. He's got a big performance and he's nervous. He's cold and nervous. Hey, confused kangaroo, thank you. Honestly, this has made my night. This has made my night so much, confused kangaroo. Thank you. If you're out there, if you ever see this, thank you. So he's gonna have... I'm gonna put drums / gong. Alright, so when I put it in the D&D Beyond sheet, it's gonna be like, yep, drums, that's it. We can get another language. Let me look at what kind of races would be out in the Coldlands. I'm sorry, I guess was like, hey, why don't I just see more Snorunt? D&D Arctic races. I don't know. Just gonna see what I can find. What D&D races would live in that? Oh, okay. It's going like, oh, you mean like enemies? Sure, we got enemies over here. Let's do it by who's the coolest. Everyone's like, very new. Oh, I feel so sorry whoever thinks Shifter's the coolest. Really? People think Shifter has higher racial benefits? No. Like, that is not true. You know, primordial never hurts. I think they know the tongue of nature. Once again, I give a character a background where they just know primordial. They'll have a staff, hunting trap. So, staff, hunting trap. Snorunt can trap that snow. He can trap the bears. He can protect himself. She can protect herself from Ursa rings. She's gonna have a trophy. Why don't we say instead of trophy of an animal she's killed, maybe like, ooh, it'd be really cool if she had like amber of like a really cool snowflake. So I'm gonna put a snowflake amber, because that just sounds cool. And I think we can make something out of that later. Traveler's closed, and $10. Alright, so we got that. We got some solid background stuff. Alright, so for stats, we're just gonna put in the simple... Once again, I'm putting in bullets. No. It's okay, when we get to levels, this will be streamlined. Wait, I don't even think I did that last time. Yeah, I think I just did. Alright. Tit tuition. It's funny because tits, they're like boobs, I hear. Chance. Intelligence. Wisdom. Charisma. So for this build, Although we are going to get some of the charisma and we are getting good dexterity, what we're really going to prioritize is try to get wisdom and charisma really high. So we're going to be using standard stat array, just because that's a bit more approachable. We don't have to worry about luck. This is just what we're going to get. So I'm just going to pull it up. Alright, so... Standard stat array 5e, let's go. Alright, so for 15... The 15 we actually wanted to be charisma. Because we're going to get that odd number boost, and it's going to be important for us later. I'd rather us improve the wisdom as we go on earlier, and maybe later on help out with the charisma. But we at least want that strong start while we have it. So we're gonna have that 16 there, and we're gonna have our 14 be wisdom. Now, because we're specifically going towards Frosslass with that build, one thing that Frosslass does better is Frosslass is better with offensive and speed, as opposed to everything being balanced. I checked before stream. So we're going to give this 13 and make that a 15 with a +2. So I'm going to give you parentheses of what these mean. Alright, so we're going to give, those are our better stats. We used a 15, 14, and 13. Excuse me. I feel like we're out on the cold, so I feel like that 12 is going to be in con, because we've been in a very harsh environment. We know how to survive, like, not only like, environmental skills, but just in, like, actual, like, we know how to survive. And, like, our body knows how to handle these harsh environments. The real question is, do we go for strength or intelligence being our main weakness? You know, I feel... Because, again, I know Snorunt is pretty balanced if they're physical or special attacker, like their stats usually even. So I feel like they probably have average strength, but they may just not know as much about the world as other people just because they haven't been out in places where they learn about, you know, more cosmic things. She knows how to survive and, like, how life works, but she doesn't know, like, the science behind it. She knows, like, how to work with animals, or, like, you know, understand the wilderness and, like, navigate, but she doesn't really know, like, oh, so this is why, you know, so, like, she doesn't know, like, history of, like, oh, dude, so that's why, like, there was that war that happened a few years ago. I didn't even hear about a war. You know? I feel like it's a bit isolated. Oh, we got another demon? Alright, I'll summon another demon for you, Hell. We'll get out Amy, President of Hell. So yeah, we're gonna make that 10 in strength. And we're gonna make that 8 intelligence. We don't need it as much. And it could make us a cute character option for just quirkiness. Alright, so we're at level 1. And for fur, we're gonna go in first with Druid. And just gonna do 1 Druid. Alright. Alright, level 1 Druid. So why are we picking Druid? That's a good question. One, Snorunt seemed to be very social in their initial gatherings for the snow. They all come together, and they all are able to predict the weather and sort of have this attunement with nature. And as such, I feel like our Snorunt, she is going to have this attunement and know not only she has a super sensitive awareness of nature, and as such she can use the powers of nature. You know, specifically like calling forth the art, like the environment she's most familiar with. the Arctic. This will also allow us to get a lot more elemental-based spells to play around and work with. So we're going to be going with Druid, which also is a fun class. Now, I will say to preface Druid, Druid is a pretty funky class because they don't have a set-in-stone spell list. For those who may not be familiar in my audience, someone who plays a sorcerer, like with Raichu, they learn spells every level, or approximately every level, and that's their spell list. It's always that. It never changes unless you want to mix it up after you level up. With a class like a Druid or a Cleric, you get to prepare spells. You get to pick any spell from your spell list, but you're restricted by your Wisdom modifier plus level. So our little snow gal here can prepare up to 3 spells a day with our +2 Wisdom and 1 level in Druid. And of course, as you get more Druidic levels or invest more in Wisdom, you can get better and pick more kinds of spells to be a bit more prepared. But whenever you long rest, you can switch out what spells you want. So the spells we're going to say here are going to be more recommendations, more so than recommendations for the build to sort of get the flavor we want, but they're not going to be like, at this level you get this spell. So it's going to be a lot more loose because of that. So yeah, so why don't we look at Druids and what they exactly get. Bum 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 ba da da dum bum bum ba bum bum ba dum ba dum bum 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 ba da dum. Are we gonna get proficiency saving throws in intelligence and wisdom? That's gonna be neat. So that means we're gonna have a lot of resistances to wisdom saving throws. Are probably one of the better saving throws to add, mostly because wisdom is thrown around a lot for like resisting mostly like charms or anything that affects your state of mind, which is really weird because how wisdom is used in the game is very much more of a sense of awareness. So I shrug. It really should be more charisma throws, but hey, they keep that for staying in your plane of reality, I guess, or being possessed. Even though how they usually do it, you think that would also be wisdom, but hey, who knows. So we're gonna have prof in wisdom, whiz, and int saves, which is good because our intelligence isn't that great, but hey, we know a few things. Our brain's a little keen. Oh, we get prof in herbalism. So we could potentially make healing potions, or at least know how to some degree. I'm pretty sure that's what healing. Let me actually check if herbalism, what the purpose of herbalism kits are, because I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But I want to double check. D&D herbalism kit. All right. So herbalism kits, a variety of instruments such as clippers, mortar, pastils, pouches, and vials by herbalists to create remedies and potions. Proficiency with this kit lets you add proficiency bonus to any ability check you make to identify or apply herbs. Also, proficiency with this kit can let you create antitoxin and any potion of healing. So this is a thing that any druid can do in the game, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of this, but you could produce antitoxins if your player is more long-term poisoned or able to try and craft potions of healing. And it says any potion of healing, so it probably lets you do it with any degree, but probably whatever your check is probably going to be a lot higher. But it could be a really good thing. Our Snorunt knows how to make healing potions if need be. And it only costs 5 gold. Alright, and we gotta pick 2 skills that we're gonna be really good at. So we already have survival. I think... Let me see. Animal handling I don't think is quite true because we don't really know... Snorunt's not really known for being a real animal catcher. Like, she's a funny little gal, but like... I don't think she's out there being like Snow White, you know? Especially because a lot of the animals there are a bit more dangerous in the Sinnoh Wilds. I think out of these two, nature's probably going to be one of them because I feel like they're very attuned to their environment and how just nature works. We're going to get that proficiency in nature. May not be the most optimal, but hey, I feel like it'd be in character. And why don't we get perception? Because I also feel another big thing is that Snorunt seems to have this at least awareness to know like what the weather is going to be. So they have to not only like, even with magic, they probably also have to be like, hey, look, you can tell by the clouds that this is going to happen. Or like, hey, I've noticed a increase in like the weather has gotten warmer, but it's also gotten damper. We should probably get shelter. Like, I feel like, or also even in the snow, there's a lot of things hidden from the snow, especially when you're pretty short. That you have to keep an eye and look up, and also be aware of what's going on underneath you. So we're gonna have that as perception. All right, so we got that. Let's see. So that's our skills. Alright, so she's getting a scimitar, which is neat. Never go wrong with that. And that's a dex thing, too. Scimitar. I'm thinking she would have a shield. At least at first, because here's sort of my reasoning here. I think because Snorunt initially is like all their stats are 50, they're balanced. I feel like we gotta have Snorunt have some amount of like protectability. Like, we've got pretty good dex right now. When we have leather armor here, which is something we get initially, our AC will be about 13. This will make it into 15, which is really solid, good middle ground AC, and really help out with that sense of decent defense and all that. And we're an ice type, we need any kind of defense we can get. Alright. So, we also get to know Druidic, which is like a Druid exclusive language. Essentially, think of it as like very cryptid code that they can leave out throughout the wilderness. Like, you see some Stonehenge, like, you ever see like rocks stacked up onto each other while walking on a hiking path? That would be like Druidic, of like, hey, we dropped this signal here, something's happening, and like, just letting you know, we're dropping at the down low. Also, I credited it as Hell, giving me the demon credit, but I realized that was Silver Frog, so thank you, Silver Frog, for summoning Amy, President of Hell, our liberal arts major. But yeah, Snorunt over here knows sort of the signs of their fellow runts who maybe give out like the warning of like, hey, come meet us, the snow is about to come, and everything. Think of it as more symbolic than Thieves' Cant. Thieves' Cant is